Okay, I want to talk about this that a lot of people ignore. And it's one of the reasons why some people are winning and others are still stuck, right? It's not strategy. It's not about how many followers you have or how many books you read. Now, this is about shifting your identity, okay? Because until you shift your identity, you will keep self-sabotaging the new version of yourself that you want to become, right? And again, the hard truth is you don't get what you want. You get what you are. And what I mean by that is you get what you believe. You get what you tolerate. You get what you repeatedly do, right? And and the reason why I believe that is because oftentimes you will notice, well, you might be thinking why certain things are happening outside of the world to you. There may be things that are happening right now to you is because of what's happening inside you. So whenever on the outside is attracted to you is because of what's happening on the inside. So let's say deep down, for example, you might be thinking, okay, I am not great at being consistent. I'm I may not be good at sales or I'm not built for business. Guess what? If you continue to tell yourself that story, because again, whatever story you tell yourself in your mind, oftentimes your actions and your results, whatever appears in front of you, will always prove that belief is right. Okay? And now, because until that new version of you, if you don't make that shift, or if you don't change that story from what you're telling yourself, nothing will change. Nothing. And I'll tell you why. Let's start with, okay, here. I'll share something personal, okay? Based on my life, when there was the time that I started this journey before I get to where I am today, there was a journey that I was, experiencing that I didn't have everything figured out. I didn't always feel confident. I didn't feel ready or qualified for what I was doing at that time. And the time that I wanted to inspire people from what I know about business, about sales, about mindset. But I just, like I said, I didn't have everything figured out, but what I had was that belief in myself. And and also what got me to where I am today is because I made that one decision for myself. And that one decision has completely changed my life. And that decision was for me to stop living that old version of myself, of that only trying to survive, right? And start living, start living that new version of myself that was meant to lead, that was meant to aspire, that was meant to share with you guys, right? And every success that I've had until then was after that shift I've made in my identity. Okay? So you might be thinking, okay, How do I make that shift in my identity? And from what I have experienced and what I've done that have helped me to make that shift was I remember there was a time that I closed my eyes, thinking to myself, imagining myself, visualizing that new, sorry, the high version of myself. Okay? I would ask myself, what does she like? Who was she surrounded with? What kind of people did she have in her life? Right? What type of conversation that she was having with people around her? Who was she listening to? Where was she going to? Right? Remember, places that you go does affect you as well. And you need to ask yourself, was she showing up for herself? How did she show up every day? Right? What did she say no to? Because I say this from my experiences where I had hard time saying no to people, to a lot of things. I had very hard time. And it can be very draining, and that always puts you in a survival mode. Right? It's very difficult, and you've got to come clear with that and ask yourself, that high version of yourself, what do you say no to now? You've got to make that clear. Make that clear with yourself. Okay? And also, you might be thinking there might be a time that will come for you to become that high version of yourself. And I would say that I completely disagree, because there's not going to be a time that will come to you to be that high version of yourself until you start taking that action. You start taking that first step to be that high version of yourself. So, like I said, you need to be clear on that high version of yourself. What do you see? Right? You ask all that questions. And once you get clear with that, I would say write it down, right? Look over everything that you get clear with those things in your mind. And I would say you start acting like that high version of yourself starting today. Okay, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not when you feel ready, not when you feel confident. Okay? Because, and why I say that is because I have wasted half of my life waiting and waiting for someone's permission for me to be that best version of myself. And I realized, I've learned that there's not going to be anyone going to be there for you to tell you, hey, you could be that high version of yourself today. It's only going to be you. You have to make that decision for yourself that today, okay, I decided to be that best version of myself. And over time, most people wait to feel confident. There's not going to be a time that will come to you when you're going to be confident until you start acting like that version. Then that's when the game starts, and that's when everything is going to change for you, right? And lastly, please I tell you that when you get to the high new version of yourself, make sure you don't go back to that old version of yourself, okay? What I need you to do is kill that old version of you. That version of you that plays small, that waits for people's permission for you to live your best life or for you to want to do something for yourself. Stop and stop surviving. Okay? Because again, you've got to let it go. Let that old version of yourself go. Because, from my perspective or how, okay, well, the reason why I made that shift in myself, in my identity, was because I've always wanted to have the life, have all these desires I can think of in my hand, in my heart. I thought to myself that you can't have 7-figure business, or I say for myself, having that multi-billion dollars business with a survival identity. No, it's not going to, it doesn't match, right? So I thought to myself, okay, if I live or continue to live in that old version of myself and try to manage $1 billion business, surviving, I wouldn't be able to manage a team or lead a team, close clients, or make moves. There's no way, right? And also, I was someone who was acting like as if I'm waiting for someone's permission. And that never got me anywhere for years. So this is something that I've learned, to let go of that old version of myself. And here's another thing that will help you guys to let go of that old version of yourself and be the best version of yourself moving forward is to, from what I've done, is to let go of people around you that is not serving your highest self, version of yourself. And because all the time, friends and family around you right now are comfortable with who you are right now. And coming from my life experiences, where I've tried to be the best version of myself around the people that I welcome them in my life when I was living my own version. And believe me, when I made that shift in my identity, I started to lose friends. These people disappear on me. My family didn't like what they would see. They thought that I was just be delusional. But I tell you that, be prepared for that. Once you shift your identity, be prepared to have some, like your friends may look down on you. I'm saying I don't want that for anybody, but those are the things that you may have to face when you make that shift. And from there, if you do experience that, which most likely you will, what I can say is that from what I did was to encourage my highest self, highest version of myself, was to start going to events where I can surround myself with people that are vibrating at that high version, the high frequency of my high version of myself. And that's where I was able to be in my alignment, be in alignment with myself, and be able to connect with the right people around me who get me and my vision. Like saying the dreams, the goals that I've had for myself, be living as a high version of myself. Because not everyone are meant to go with you to the next level of your life. And there are certain times that I've learned that you need to make that next step for yourself is go to networking events, start meeting people who have what you wanted, the desires that you have in your heart. Go to these people and make connections. And I say that because when I was 16 years old, I've always had mentors. I've had mentors, like multiple of them. And of course, you've got to be very selective with who you choose that person to be your mentor. And that's what helped me a lot to shift my identity, because those people will definitely encourage you and support your beliefs without you thinking that it's crazy. And of course, I am absolutely delusional. I love it. I'm living at my best life. I am living my best, highest version of myself. And I tell you that ever since my experiences in shifting my identity is absolutely beautiful experiences, and I want that for you guys as well. But you've got to take that first step. You've got to make that one decision. And I want you guys to know that you're not alone. And I'm here. I'm here to listen. I'm here to, push you, encourage you, believe in you. Because I truly believe every one of us deserve the best of all the best. And no hate, right? All love from my side to you guys. And I don't want to be the only one experiencing this. So I want my people in the community to be living their best version of themselves. And for that, I think that's all from me tonight. And I hope this video has been helpful for you to, reflect on through what you can do, how you can shift your identity. And honestly, again, if you feel like there's something that you're not sure about, or if you ever want to reach out to me, you can always reach out to me on my Instagram here. Write a comment below, and I'd be so happy to see you write me a comment, and I'll get back to you guys. I mean, of course, if you guys have success in shifting your identity, I would love to hear as well. So yeah, it's 1 a.m. in the morning in Dubai out here, and I wanted to, say that I am super, super grateful for you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Okay, I love you guys.